I was a difficult person to be around. I was contentious, I was selfish and self-centered, and Jana and I did not get along when we were younger. I was always picking on her and she was always frustrated with me, and we aren't perfect. We still have a lot of issues. There have been
Hey guys, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. Counting On comes back tomorrow. I know, we're gonna go back to the world of fake. So over the weekend, we were doing a bunch of real life stuff about the details of the IBLP and the really bad stuff that is associated with the Duggars. And we're going to run back into the merry way of the fakeness of Counting On, where they pretend like everything is hunky-dory and everyone is best friends. They act like they don't have any conflict and everything's great. No, wait. That's actually not what's happening in this new special. Because this week, there's a special coming back, and it's called A Counting On, A New Life. What? That's weird. What? A new life? Counting on a new life? A new life? It means, does that mean like the special means like they're taking the show in another direction, like a new life? Does that mean the show's not coming back? Does that mean that what? Is it because a new life is Brooklyn Praise? Because Kendra delivers their 20th grandchild. Can you believe it? I know! Every time a little girl is born into this group, I feel really sad because I want them to realize that they can have their own lives. They have a brain. They don't have to have a million children. And I get really sad on the inside because I'm like, oh, another girl is going to have to go through this. This is horrible. Because everyone I talk to in the IBLP says the women get everything the worst in this group. Previews. Let's talk about what was released by TLC. It wouldn't be the Duggars if they didn't talk about their faith and their obsession with their faith. Okay, I'm just kidding. It's not an obsession. It's just a cult. Okay, it's really a cult. But they talk about their testimonials, and it's right before on the heels of Easter. So it's probably them sort of sharing what brought them to God. So in a 3-minute teaser, it was kind of interesting because Jessa, for the first time, gets maybe a little bit honest. Well, maybe not. Jessa, over the years, has talked a lot about what a bratty kid she was, how she wasn't like the most well-behaved, how she caused a lot of issues, she was rebellious, she wasn't nice to her siblings, and particularly one of her siblings she was the most awful to. A couple years ago, maybe 6 or 7, the Duggar girls were at a speaking event at the IBLP, and Jana talked about how Jessa was just the worst little sister, like always kicking her bed, and she didn't want to be around Jessa because Jessa was so naughty all the time. And Jessa admitted in this talk to the IBLP, and I think in their book, that she delighted in bothering Jana. Like she found it joyful to like make her upset.
and then she'd be like, "Stop, Jessa, I'm gonna go get mom." And I was like, sure you are. And so then I would like grab her blanket and I would yank her blanket off the bed, and she'd be like, "I'm going." So she would get up and go get my mom, and then I'd be in trouble. But then I'd do it again the next night. And I was just.
And like by kicking her bed and being mean to her sister, she thought it was like the greatest thing ever. Now it's never really been said like why they didn't like each other. And it's kind of odd because Jana and Jessa are like, they have Jill in the middle. So I don't know if Jill was more connected to Jana and maybe she was jealous, but then once Ginger came along, Jessa and Ginger became besties. There's never really been some like really understanding of why Jessa didn't like Jana. And Jana, for her part, said that in order to try to repair the situation, she gave Jessa a jewelry box, like her favorite jewelry box.
And so I asked my parents, how can I do that? How can I show her this love, even though I love her, but yet I don't really care about her right now because she's really being mean to me. The only thing that I could think of that was a treasure to me that I could invest into her life was something that Jill and I had matching jewelry boxes, and it was something that was very special to me. And so I just felt like, hey, this would be something that maybe I could give to her.
To which Jessa didn't really like, well, initially. Now she says the jewelry box changed everything. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. But Jessa and Jana are not the best of friends. And Jessa talks about this openly in this video now, where she basically says that like her relationship with Jana is still pretty not that great. So she talked about how when she was younger, she was kind of a pain in the booty and she was selfish and self-centered and only thought about herself.
I was a difficult person to be around. I was contentious. I was selfish and self-centered, and
Which I think a lot of people noticed about her when she was younger, particularly when she was getting married to Ben. Do you remember how she was just so like above any kind of help that Michelle tried to offer? Like she would say, Michelle would try to do like very basic things like, are you sure you want to do that? And she's like, oh, Mom, it's fine. You know, and how she was really selfish about the bridesmaids' dresses because Jana did not like the bridesmaids' dresses. And Jessa like almost delighted in the fact that Jana didn't like them. And then she made them wear it anyway. And the dresses were so ugly. They were like painted on them. She said they got them really cheap. And she said she didn't even care because they didn't need to look good. She was the one that needed to look good or something like that, if I'm remembering. I could be wrong. But the whole thing screamed at, like, I feel like she gets joy in making Jana feel bad. And I don't know what that is. I have no idea why. Maybe is it that Jana wasn't a target of Josh? Maybe she's angry that Jana wasn't affected by it. I don't know. I can't for the life of me figure out why she doesn't like Jana. So anyways, she basically says that she over time saw her older siblings coming to God and realized that like she could be a better person and get away from that selfishness and that self-centeredness. And she said that now it's helped her repair her relationship with Jana.
like Jana and I did not get along when we were younger. I was always picking on her and she was always frustrated with me, and we had a friendship for the first time. And it isn't overnight. We aren't perfect. We still have a lot of issues. There have been
The relationship is still not perfect. They still have a lot of issues and they still have a lot to work on. Jessa admits that she's like the naughty one, the mean one. And I feel like that's kind of like what fans gravitate to with her. They feel like she's stuck up, she's self-centered, she's full of herself, she's selfish, she only thinks about herself. And I think this is also in line with really how she's treated Jill over the years, like trying to minimize what Jill has done or what her parents have done. And every time Jill would try to speak out about Jim Bob or Michelle or whatever happened, she would like immediately post something on Instagram or on YouTube to rebut anything that Jill said. For any time people would say, well, why didn't you invite the Dillards? And she would be like, we invited them. Or when they asked like, why are you ostracizing Jill? She's not ostracized. They don't ever want to come. Like making it seem like it's all Jill and Derek's fault and nobody else. So I think we know that she is the kind of person that's like that. People often say that Jessa is probably the most like Jim Bob. I know a lot of you guys in comments will often say that you feel like Jessa's like a narcissist, kind of like Jim, cut from the same cloth, kind of full of herself, kind of all about herself. Again, I don't know. She has a very flat affect, I've known. She doesn't really have a lot of like excitement. Whenever you watch Jessa, I never see her get like overabundantly gleeful or excited or happy. Like you see Joy when she was younger and she was always so happy. And even Jill was always like so bubbly and giddy and such a caretaker of her siblings. But Jessa was always just like this flat, serious one that seemed to be moody and irritated like all the time. And can you really blame her? Her parents didn't get her any help and her brother was a jerk. You know what I'm saying? And that's just putting it lightly. Jessa and Jana's relationship is a hot mess. And then Ben says that he and Jessa have had struggles in their marriage. Like, does that shock anyone? I mean, I don't feel like they're ever on there and being like, our marriage is perfect, but I feel like Jessa and Ben probably have the most miserable marriage of all of them because they never look happy together. Even though they post these photos on Instagram where they always are like kissing and lovey-dovey, I get the sense that like they just tolerate each other. Sometimes I feel like Jessa might have just married Ben to get out and to get away. And I know that when I talk to people about the IBLP, they do say that a lot of the girls end up settling because they want to get away from their parents' control. And literally like the only way a girl can get out from underneath their parents' control is by getting married. And she met a man who at the time was not a part of the IBLP, though I do think they are a part of it now because she has participated in different events. She was like on a Q&A last year at the family conference with her parents. And I also know that they've gone to the family conference in the last few years. So, but Ben and Jessa apparently have not had like seen eye to eye on parenting. They've had some issues with communication. I wonder if Jessa ever gets irritated with his lack of wanting to do anything like work. Okay, I know that he must have a job, but I do wonder sometimes, like, why did they have the smallest house? Was that because Jim Bob knew that they would not be able to afford to pay for like the heating and the electric? Is it because like Jed just got a house from his dad and it's like 2,100 square foot and Jessa's house has like 1,000 square feet? Although some people are rumored to saying that Jessa's house looks empty when they've driven by it and it might be on the market or they might be moving. So I don't know. I'll keep you like sort of in the know about that, but someone said that they were around that area and they saw the house empty. But again, that's a rumor. But she does need a new house. She's about to have her 4th kid and they only have 2 bedrooms and 1,000 square feet. It's really they've outstayed their capacity in that house. So Jessa and Jana don't get along. Jessa's selfish. Ben admits that he and Jessa have had problems in their marriage, and Jessa has a heart for her siblings or something. I don't know. Tell me what your thoughts are about all of this, and do you think Jessa and Ben will finally get another house? Or do you think that Jim Bob doesn't give them another house because he doesn't like Ben? Tell me in the comments below. Bye, guys.